Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, I didn't think we would see another company drop 25% on earnings after the disastrous earnings we had last quarter, but once again it happens and it drags down an entire sector with it. And then of course we have another company, they do the old preliminary earnings. Let me go ahead and take my beating now. And yes, their earnings are going to be horrible, so that might affect a whole nother sector. And just for the record, at the end, I'll tell you why it's very important you watch for this tomorrow, okay? And I did want to say before we get into it that the video I was going to put out today, recorded it, edited it, watched it back, didn't like it. All right, didn't like the way I like the data, didn't like the way I presented the data, so I'm going to go back, redo it, and put that out on Sunday for you guys, okay? And so I'm kind of a perfectionist like that. But anyway, the company we're talking about now, of course, which is dragging down the whole sector, is Snap. You can see down 26%. I mean, that is amazing. So any little gains it did have over the last month are completely gone. So I feel bad for those shareholders. I think we all been there. And you look at this, so you missed top and bottom line, not by a lot, as you'll see. Going to go ahead and repurchase $500 million in stocks, supposedly. That's interesting. And then this is the worst, though. Substantially slow the rate of hiring and as well the rate of operating expense growth. Well, that's not good. And you can see that it wasn't a horrible miss, right? I mean, loss of 2 cents versus the expected loss of 1 cent. Revenue, $1.1 billion versus $1.14 billion. Daily users, 347 million versus 344. So unlike Netflix, they didn't lose, almost 1 million people, right? But here's the problem. This is the big one. They're going to not provide any guidance for the third quarter, which is a death knell for you right off the bat. And so that's the big one. When that happens, you can forget about it. And it reminds me of this Homer Simpson meme where, you're just going to slowly fade into the bush and nobody will see me, hopefully. But that's not the case because obviously after this came out, anything to do with ads, right? And so Google, of course, they end up coming down a little bit here, which, I mean, let's be honest, 2.5% for Google is a lot because they're a big cap company there. Pinterest getting killed at 6%, even though they hadn't done anything wrong just yet. Meta is going down around 5%. And then you come over to Trade Desk, and it's a hot mess, down almost 7%, even though none of them have reported earnings yet. You go over to Twitter, though, surprisingly, only down 1.82%. Why? Because they got that deal in place with Musk. What was it, $50 or something? $52, I think he's going to buy it for or something. So what a deal they'll get if this happens. And by the way, if you get anything out of this, please hit that like and subscribe button for me. I really appreciate it. Think about sharing the video. As always, guys, thank you for all your support. And of course, that leads us to another company that decided to do the old preliminary earnings. And you can see old Corsair Gaming right there. It's down around 10%. And so any gains they've had, which haven't been much, are completely wiped out over the last month at least. And you can see, here we go with the preliminary crap once again. Let me get my beating in place now before I report terrible earnings. And it's going to be really bad. So they announced today its preliminary unaudited revenue is going to be approximately $284 million, giving them a $10 to $11 million loss. And they go on to say, shockingly, the first half of the year has been a challenging time as we expected the macroeconomic headwinds affecting consumer spending on gaming gear, especially in Europe. I cannot believe Europe's a problem. This has caused a build of inventory both in our warehouse as well as the retail channel, thus causing our channel partners to delay ordering while they clear their excess. And the reason why this is important is because tomorrow, if this market shakes this off and goes green, like I said, the blinders are on, rev it. Get that money up until the 27th, 28th of next week. That is what this is all about. Okay, so that means if it shakes all this off tomorrow and you see all the indexes green once again, Facebook going green, Google goes back to being green, then this isn't a fundamentally sound rally at all. It's just it going whatever. Don't care what's happening right now. We're booking it up. The market makers, the hedge funds, all that stuff, they're just piling in. And retail investors are FOMOing in, going into this thing. And so obviously what it sets us up for is one of the biggest rug pulls ever going into next week, or news comes out good, and then it's like a rocket ship taking off. And so that's where we're at on that. But that's why it's important to watch for this tomorrow and see what happens. What do you think? Going to go green or red? Hit me up in the comments. I'll see you guys later.